Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're here to talk about Survivor, episode 7, the rankings.
The rankings. Dun, dun, dun. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And then also say hello to JoJo. Hi, and welcome back. How are
you? Thanks for having me. Loving this season of Survivor. So excited to get into these rankings.
Yes, this is exciting for you to come on and rank with us. I haven't even gotten to chat with you about this season of Survivor. So give me a little, well, let's talk about this episode. Give me your feelings about this past episode, JoJo.
I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
I'm doing it. Tens across the board. Even with these advantages in play, which have been really irking me all season, it was a beautiful episode. And I only have a couple complaints, which is very rare for me in Survivor.
Okay. So I'm going to assume too many twists. It's been too much. But how did you feel about the merge twist, the first merge episode? Were you like, eh?
I actually was okay with it.
Okay.
I am on the side of Deshawn, as in anything can happen.
That's right.
Sometimes you can't prepare. I'm someone that would want to prepare for everything, but you can't always. So you kind of have to go with the punches, rock and roll, see what's happening. So I was kind of cool with it, but I wish it was done in a different format. I really do wish that Erica could have redone the rocks or had the team split up again, new immunity challenge, really get back to turning time instead of just turning results.
Yeah, agreed. I think we all agree. Chantele talked about that last week. That would have been a better way of doing it. But as you said, this episode, the result of the whole thing was so entertaining, historic. Quite the episode. And I got to say, some of my ratings have changed. Chantele, have some of your ratings changed from last week?
Definitely some of my ratings have changed. One thing that I think is hilarious, though, well, I don't know if it's hilarious, but the fact that, like, Erica has this game-changing twist and it's so huge and, like, you're going to be a legend in this game. And, like, literally wasn't in the episode after the first, 5 minutes. So, like, she did all this and, like, it doesn't even come back on her being a game move or whatnot. I mean, we didn't see a lot of her interacting with these people. We were all hoping that maybe she used it as an opportunity to really kind of get in there and kind of fix her position in the game. It doesn't seem like she did. Maybe we'll get more information next episode about that. But, like, I just thought it was like this game-changing mood, and she's really not getting any credit for it whatsoever. People are pointing their finger at production, and they're like, I see you, production, and I'm not happy, especially Danny. Apparently he is not happy. In Sydney's exit press, she said that, like, Daddy came for Jeff and was like super upset with him, and Jeff was like, okay, well, we won't do it next time, or something like that. Like, kind of like, yeah. So
okay, well, first off, you sign your life away when you go on these shows. Like, there is nothing in the paperwork that says this season will be just like all the other seasons. After this many seasons, we've actually seen quite a few changes that have happened over 40 years, 40 seasons. So you have to expect that. Fighting it just means you're a fixed sign. You're stubborn. You just can't roll with it.
I totally get both sides of this coin. Like, I understand, like, okay, this is the card that I'm given to me. Let me adapt. Let me pivot. Let me use this to my advantage. Let me change, like, my perspective of the game. Totally. Like, that's hopefully how I would react to something like this. But I can understand Danny coming from, like, a sports background where you get the rules to the game that you're playing. And if, you do something in the way that you are told to do to get a certain result, I can understand being frustrated and irritated for the fact that okay, so the rules don't mean anything. Why did we bother playing? Why did we exert all this energy for absolutely nothing? And so I understand his side of it as well. So hopefully, though, he does pivot and kind of,
you do it because you're on the show.
or because you're on the show.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Well, let's dive into some ratings because we'll talk about each person individually, how they handled this twist and how they might have used it to their advantage or not. A reminder, everybody, we give out dice because we're gamers. So 1 is the lowest possible score. Real bad game is a 1. 6 is the best game. So excited, and we love it.
Wait, should we be giving out scrolls though? Because like the dice don't seem to mean anything. Sorry, I'm just being
6 scrolls.
Yeah.
No, just because of the fact that like, we're talking about shot in the dark and the dice, but it's actually a scroll that you're picking out.
Right. No, it's actual paper that you're going to pull from an urn, guys, but we're going to start with dice. Yeah. No. Yeah. Jeff ruining dice for us. Jeez. Okay. Let's stick with alphabetical. We went anti-alphabetical one time and it just threw us all off, I felt like. So we're going to stick with alphabetical, which means we're starting with Danny. Chantele, we're starting with you. Did you see anything different this week with Danny that you want to put into his
I don't remember what I gave Danny last time, but I gave Danny a 4 this time. Okay. I didn't change it. The reason why I didn't go higher, because like he should have been in the hot seat. Like there was not very many people to choose from, and it didn't seem like there were any whispers of his name whatsoever. So I thought that's pretty impressive, considering there's only 5 people to choose from. And then with the fact that he was kind of bitter though about not really adapting with the twist, not having a really great attitude around this game. Like, yeah, it sucks. I get it. Like I complained about it a lot, and I listened to a lot of people complain about it a lot. But I do think if I was playing the game, I'd be like, okay, I got to shift and pivot. And he didn't seem to do that very quickly. And so it might eventually rub people the wrong way if he doesn't kind of bounce back. So he didn't play this round that well, but he wasn't really on the hot seat. So it's a little bit better than just average. So I gave him a 4.
Agreed. JoJo?
Yeah, I am going to literally take every word out of Chantele's mouth and display it here. I also gave Danny a 4.
4.
I was impressed that his name wasn't being thrown out out of 5 people or 4 people eligible to be voted out of this game. And I think he's set up pretty well. He's merged with his entire tribe. He has this secret alliance of 4 that could really do some damage if they want to. And I would say the only thing that I thought was a little negative for Danny was his sportsmanship attitude. And I don't really think he was trying to pull the strings. For me, I think he was kind of cool with other people taking the reins, which is fine. He's also an NBA player or ex-NBA player. So I'm going to, or NFL? Sorry.
NFL.
Yeah.
Sports. He's an
sports letters starting with N.
Really showing how into sports you are there, JoJo.
My sport is Survivor. My sport is Big Brother.
Yes, that's right.
That's it. But if I was playing with an ex-NFL player, you better believe I would bring them to the end with me to not reward $1 million to them. I'm sorry. So I think he's someone to latch on to personally. So I'll give him a 4.
Interesting. I also gave him a 4. I feel like, he's been a 4 for me for a while because he has good relationships with people. He's in the group that's basically making the decisions, but I did find it interesting that he really wasn't leading the charge this week. And I also found it interesting that his name didn't come up because I think several videos we've talked about, he would be the first one. If you were looking at the big guys and wanting to target them, he would be the first target. And here we got Deshaun's name instead. So I was surprised about that. But yeah, he's like a high middle of the road. He's obviously going to be good at comps in general and has been. He's been helping Luvu win. He was in the conversations, but not leading them. So yeah, I feel like a 4 is solid for him. The audience gave him a little lower. They went 3 for him, but he's going to average out at a high 3, so technically a 4. Can round up to 4. So good job, Danny. Way to be there. Okay, Deshawn is next alphabetically. And I went out of focus. Okay, JoJo, start us off for Deshawn.
So I really went back and forth between this rating. I was going between a 3 and a 4, but I decided that what made me lower my score to a 3 was misplaying that extra vote this round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was hard for me because I think Deshawn is an excellent player. I think socially he's doing very well. I do believe that he got a little too paranoid when trying to throw it onto Sydney. And I get self-preservation, obviously, but it's his first time going to tribal. I can give it a pass, but using that extra vote this round was not it for me. And it didn't help him really.
Right. Interesting. I gave him a 4. I felt like using the extra vote was not that bad of an idea because he was the next name. Because he knew he was in danger, and that tribal was such a hot mess. I didn't know what was happening. I doubt they really knew what was happening. So I'm going to forgive. I understand what you're saying, JoJo. I'm forgiving that. I still feel like he's good at comps. I'm surprised that his name was that, but again, in the conversation, good relationships, and has those alliances and is protected. So even when his name comes up, he's probably gonna be okay. So I gave him a 4. Chantele.
I am a little bit higher than both of you. I hear where both of you are coming from. I gave him a 5. Now, the reason why I gave him a 5 is the fact that he heard that he was the other name that people were coming for, and he immediately got people on board with a plan to protect him. And I think the fact that he has so much influence that people were willing to vote the way that he wanted to, he was the one that people were talking to about, like, okay, this is what we're doing. Oh, we're going to split the vote. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. And like, he was offering up the plan to keep himself safe. Unfortunately, Sydney was the sacrificial lamb here in this particular situation, but he ensured that he was staying in the game. Now, I think that with that extra vote, he didn't know whether or not Xander was going to be using an extra vote on Evie. He didn't know how they were going to be playing all of that. So I wouldn't want to be going home when I knew that my name was on the list of people being voted for with having an extra vote in my pocket. I'd be like, listen, I have to go all in here just to secure myself. So I don't think it was a misplay. I think it was like, I do not want to be going home with this in my pocket because there's so many advantages. And like, it's an advantage get in. We saw what happened to Sari there. She didn't really do anything wrong and she was voted out of the game. And so I don't think that he wanted that type of situation to happen with like all these idols and things canceling this out. Like, what if Sydney, she got that, what's it called? Shot in the dark.
Oh,
what if
right.
that worked, right? And so, and then he had the same amount as Evie. Like, he would have gone to a 4-4 split. So I think that it was the right play for him to go all out and use it because he wasn't sure with what all these idols that were coming up and playing this particular tribal. So it was too messy to keep that in your pocket.
So messy.
I can absolutely agree with you because if I was playing, I would probably do the same thing. But I think it's because the results, in my opinion, didn't help. So looking back, I'm like, that's my only reason for saying it was a misplay, was that the results didn't go the way that he would have preferred as Evie being the one to go.
It's also could be the same. Like if Sydney had not done the shot in the dark and voted for Evie, then you know what I mean. Then Xander wouldn't be getting all the accolades this episode. You know what I mean? So
exactly. Gotta pick and choose.
Xander's gonna get some accolades here.
Even though he's a bad actor.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we will. Well, the audience gave him a 4, and so he is going to average out at a 4. That feels right for what all of us are saying there. Okay, Erica. I'm going to start us off with Erica here. I gave her a 3 last week for the potential of what she could possibly do. And I believe I got laughed at and it didn't go well. I think so.
Yeah, you did.
But you know what? I'm sticking with a 3 because she did do it and she did change history. She smashed that glass. She saved herself. I mean, we couldn't imagine any other outcome, but strange things have happened. But then obviously we are all disappointed that she then did not turn that into building new relationships. We did not see a new alliance with her and these new safe people. We didn't even see her barely talk about who the heck she was going to vote for. She certainly wasn't leading the charge, which I feel like she could have taken a little bit of power, or at least that was what I was hoping that she would do, and lead who they were going to get out. And unfortunately, we didn't see any of that. So I really wanted to give her something higher, but no, it's a 3. It's a 3 for me. Chantele?
I'm in agreement with you.
Oh, it's happening.
So I just, for the exact same reason that you just mentioned, like she didn't do anything with this game-changing power. Like she was sitting in tribal council while everybody was scrambling behind her, having a conversation with Jeff. And he's just like, oh, look at what you caused here. And she's like, yeah, I know, but not involved in the conversation whatsoever. And so that just shows to me that she did not use this huge power that she had to her advantage. At least we haven't seen it yet. Maybe next week we'll see what she might have done in the background that we didn't have time to air this last particular episode. But from what I saw, she just didn't do anything. She didn't even tell the story well. Like Jeff had to jump in and interject as to like how to effectively tell her experience on Exile Island. So yeah, I mean, she did get out who she wanted out, I'm sure, which is, I would give her props for that. So that's probably why I gave her a 3, not a 2 or a 1. Yeah. Because she didn't like Sydney. Sydney's somebody that she was targeting. And so she was able to vote out the person that went out. And so I think that shows she had a little bit of knowledge of what was going on and voted correctly. So she gets a little bit of props there for me.
Okay. All right. JoJo?
That is the exact reason that I'm going to bump that 3 up to a 4.
Hey.
We finally saw Erica's face. At the beginning of the episode, I was so looking forward to this being her episode. Unfortunately, it was not. But as a boy from Toronto, I really want to be supportive of Erica. I'm rooting for her every week.
I think she's from Niagara Falls.
Oh. So I changed my score to 3. I kid.
Wow.
Just kidding.
I don't know enough about Canada to understand what rivals
it's just
are.
A suburb. So Toronto is like, the big city, and like Niagara Falls is just like a borough, or
so you're a city snob. You're like, oh, those suburban people.
I've spent 4 months in Niagara Falls doing High School Musical 2, the musical, and that is the only time I will ever go back to Niagara Falls.
Okay,
but the 4 is because Sydney is the person to go, and I do believe that she wanted Sydney out since day 2.
Yeah, that's true.
My solid 4 for Erica.
I love it. The audience gave her a 3.
Oh,
so she is going to average out at a 3.
That's good.
I think we're okay with that.
Yeah. Passing grade.
Come on, Erica. Like, honestly, I do want you to, I don't know, the flashback, and we're going to be like, oh, Erica was in charge. I don't know. Please. Evie is next, Chantele. How are you feeling about Evie after this week?
I'm going to go a little bit higher than I want to, just because I do feel that there was more good than mistake in her gameplay this week.
Sure.
And she was involved in, it ended up being a blindside, which I'm just like shocked that it worked. But she was able to have somebody willing to play an idol on them, to be able to use their advantages or idols on her, or at least say that they're going to, and show that she's being protected by at least 2 people in the game. So for that, I'm going to give her a 6, because I think that she really effectively kept herself in the game. Pretty much as between her, Sydney, and Deshawn this week. It would have been very easy for her to be the one that was gone, but she was able to be in the narrative of the gameplay that allowed her to stay safe when she really could have gone home very, very easily. So for that, I give her a 6. The reason why I was hovering maybe at a 5 or a 6 was when Deshawn turned around and kind of outed her with like, well, you told me all of Xander's information when we went on the ship wheel, the summit walk or whatever. So I thought that might have been bad for her game, but it would have only been really negative if she went home. We'll see what happens next week with how she maybe repairs this. But I think what she did for her game this week in general, I think out of everybody there, she deserves a 6.
Oh, I love it. JoJo, what do you think?
I'm impressed. That was a blindside for me, personally. I've been blindsided. Let me get it back together. So I was actually going between a 4 and a 5 for them, but I have decided on a solid 5.
All right.
That's fine.
Was absolutely in hot water this week. Total threat in this game. Probably should have went home, in my opinion. I would have absolutely targeted them if I was part of Luvu. And I do think a misplay might have been not calling Deshawn out on calling them out. I personally probably would have made up a lie and said, well, you told me this and you did that, blah, 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 throw it right back in his face. But I thought that was an opportunity that she kind of could have turned the table a little bit instead of putting their tail between her legs. I was impressed that they were able to survive this week, and they really kicked butt in the immunity challenge, and that impressed me. I was not expecting that whatsoever.
Yeah, right?
So a solid 5 is my final rating.
I love it. I love it. I am jealous that you went up to a 6. I want to give Evie a 6 so bad, but I'm going to stick at 5 because I can't quite say they're perfect this week. But, we questioned Evie working so hard on Xander. Well, hello, that worked out. Xander was right there, and Evie was part of the plan every step of the way. I want to give Evie the credit for giving the idol to Tiffany, because I think that was super important. This could have gone a few different ways, not knowing who was going to have it, but giving it to Tiffany was exactly what you needed to do, because no one, Lyanna wasn't going to ask if Tiffany had it. So I think Evie came up with that, but I can't give Evie that credit because we didn't see it. But might have said too much to Deshawn. Unfortunately, that did come out. But even though the target was on their back, they were part of this historic, beautiful fake out that I absolutely love. And they have to have credit for that. So I'm giving a 5. I wish I could go 6. I love that.
I also want to give Evie a little bit more credit as well for the fact that they kind of stumped Shan. Shan didn't think that they were smart enough to be able to come up with any plan. And that was how they were able to completely blindside Lyanna, because Lyanna is like, well, Shan is very smart. And if Shan doesn't really think that Evie's going to have this master plan and that it's going to be, Xander's going to have the idol, I think that was also part of Evie's doing. So I wanted to give her also props for kind of pulling the wool over Shan's eyes and basically duping her.
Totally. Here's a good question, though, because people were like, oh, if Sydney hadn't done the shot in the dark and voted with the majority. But if I'm going by the edit, I was not under the impression Sydney was going with the majority. Sydney never was a part of that group conversation. I don't even know if she knew how they were splitting the vote or anything like that. She was only talking to Evie and Xander and begging for the idol. So if she didn't do the shot in the dark, I'm inclined to think she was writing Deshawn's name down.
Me too.
What do you
Which
guys
still
think?
would have been 4-4, if I'm not mistaken.
And Sydney
So
would have still gone home, though, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, that doesn't make a difference. People are jumping to the conclusion Sydney was going to vote Evie out, and I don't see that.
I didn't see that, but maybe she would have known that information, just if they didn't show it because it didn't become relevant.
Right. True. It's possible. Okay, let's see. Audience gave Evie a 4.
Woo, low.
Ooh.
But I'm happy with a 5, though. So yeah.
Yeah.
That does average Evie out for a 5, which I feel good about. So yay. Love that. All right. Who's next? That means Heather is next. JoJo, I believe you are starting us on Heather.
Okay.
And I can't wait.
So, well, I'm going to do something incredibly controversial.
Ooh, please.
I am giving Heather a 6.
You are correct. I believe that is controversial.
A full 6 for Heather.
Was it for not having any confessionals or saying one word on an episode?
Oh.
Chantele is coming for you.
Twice. Okay. Heather has had 2 confessionals this entire season. And I personally am I feel like it's disrespectful of the editors at this point to not show this woman her own journey on Survivor. She is playing that game. She is there. I'm actually beyond upset for Heather. If I was at home and I was Heather, I would be calling Jeff. I would be adding him on Twitter, like, please put me in next week's episode. There would be a change.org petition out there for me if I was Heather. So you know what? What I can do with my life is give Heather a 6.
Well, you're not the only one. There was one in the audience, and there's one here in this audience. So I love what you're saying. JoJo, I love what you're saying. And what I want to say back to you is that I think you just have to be patient because Heather's going to be here for the rest of the game. Yeah, and so there will eventually be a lot of Heather footage. So anyone who's waiting for it, I say just keep waiting.
Yeah, I want a full hour of just Heather. That is next week, episode 8. I just want it to be the Heather show. Just called Heathered. That's it.
Yeah, honestly, if we get moments like, oh, then I am too on board because that was one of the best moments of the episode.
Or leaning in, gonna listen to Tribal. Oh, I'm being included in this group chat. Perfect. Let's do this.
I love it. Was that it, JoJo? I don't want to cut you off. Was that it?
I think that's it. I mean, the only thing I have for Heather is the secret scene. That is the only thing that I'm holding on to for Heather.
That wasn't on the episode, guys.
So, never even made it
to air. None of the live feeds are ever on the episode. No. So
okay, you know what? Thank you. That's a good point, Sarah. Thank you. That's true.
It's a different show, but I'm going to take that same approach with it. Well, I'm going to go a little bit lower than JoJo. Don't know if anyone is surprised, but I'm gonna go with a 2, which is what I have been. Sorry if that's shocking.
That's great.
I have been giving her a 2. I am not giving her a 1 because of that secret scene. That is the one thing that's keeping her from a 1. I feel like she is probably lovely and wonderful. Like you have pointed out, we haven't seen it. I really did love her moment this week, but it did not really impact the game. So I don't feel like I can go higher than a 2. Chantele?
I can't even get to a 2, guys. I can't get there. I can't get there. She's gonna average out at like a 3, and I can't even stomach that really. So I mean, I do appreciate what you're saying here, JoJo. And you know what? There is potential in her having this big rise to villainousness, like potential, sure. But we're doing this particular episode, right? We're not doing as to what we can project in our crossing our fingers in our imagination of another timeline. What could possibly happen if Heather gets an edit on this show? So we have to assume that the editors are telling a story, right? And the fact that she's not included in the story, to me right now, is saying that she might not be relevant until she is booted out. And that's just kind of like what's going on here. I don't know anything more about her. I don't know if she is trying to make any moves. I don't even know if she's looking for idols. I don't know if she's talking to people about advantages. And I just don't see anything from her, which means that, to me, that her presence in the game isn't relevant, at least in this particular episode, which means she's not doing anything, which means she gets a 1. She gets a 1. A 1.
Yeah, I really can't argue with you too much there.
Me neither. I truly can't.
We know that if someone is important in the show, they're going to give us clips of that person, even if they're not running the show. There are plenty of people we're still getting in the edit who aren't, winning, who aren't great. So the fact that, she's not, it means something.
I mean, I don't remember exactly what the scenes for the next episode are or was, but I feel like she ended up, I heard her name as somebody that could be, well, let's just do Heather then. And like, that's how she's going to go. It's like, oh, let's just do Heather then. It's like, who's going to stop us?
Heather.
Well,
so Heather's going out next episode. You know what I mean?
I think she's getting dragged to the end. I'm taking her as my goat.
Yeah.
I would too, but if you're looking for an easy vote,
if you're easy vote. For sure. Well, the audience, they didn't go too high. They gave her a 2.
Nice.
But that does average out, thanks to JoJo, to a 3.
3.
I had to.
There we go.
He named his draft team the Heathers.
Yes.
So he's definitely rooting for this one.
Oh, did you love her from the beginning?
I loved her pre-show.
Oh, wow.
I was rooting for. I thought she was going to be. I thought she was going to be Tiffany. And Tiffany is Tiffany, so
that's true.
But I also have Tiffany in my draft, so it should be. I should be calling it the Tiffany's. Truly.
You could change the name, I'm sure, after next week. After Heather's gone.
She's really coming for your team there. She is.
I mean, my team, I don't even know what's going to happen with my team because I have the volatile 3. So I have Deshawn, Erica, and Xander, and I can see any of the 3 of them going next episode. You know what I mean? So I don't know about my team, but it's definitely a little better than Heather.
Thank you, Paintbrush. I love it. All right. So moving on to Lyanna, and starts with me. I have spoken very, 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 very highly of Lyanna all season long, and I am sorry to say that her rating has gone down for me. I was not pleased with how she handled this episode. I'm going to give her a 3 because she's still obviously a great player. She's not horrible, but I was disappointed at how manipulatable she is. Is that a word? How easily she was directed to do everything, to target someone who is basically a number for her at this point. Like she said in the edit, yes, you're going to have to get rid of Evie at some point, but this is way too early. In my mind, Evie is a number for you. I would have liked to have seen Lyanna try to put the target on someone else. And then Shan was able to, take that even further and have Lyanna burn her advantage in a slightly embarrassing turn of events at Tribal. Like, it did not go Lyanna's way. And I felt like she wasn't really making her own decisions. She was being talked into everything. So I have given her a 3. Chantele?
That's high for me today.
Okay.
That's high. That's rather high.
Oh boy.
I liked Lyanna. I think
Yeah.
she's sweet. I think that I appreciate that she's trying to play the game, that she has this big advantage, that she wants to do something right with. I appreciate her wanting to, frustrated with herself that she wasn't able to get Xander out in the beginning. But then the fact that she hasn't let that shift and redevelop a new relationship with Xander is really terrible for her game. I think that she played this entire episode completely wrong. She played that advantage completely wrong. The fact that she knows that everybody knows that she has this advantage. Why on earth would Xander be standing up in tribal and sticking an idol? I'm playing this for, like, it just was, the theatrics were so obvious that it was a misdirect. And she still just like needs to take Xander's idol so badly. My precious, like, that she couldn't see that it was terrible for her game. And she probably made one of the most embarrassing blunders and misuse of power that I've ever seen on any show. Like, this is like, goes in like, Lawan category, and like, what was his name? Like, it's just bad. This is all bad. It's bad, in my opinion. She really.
Wait, what number are you actually giving her?
Oh, I'm giving her a 1.
Oh.
She gets a 1 from me.
Wow.
She could have played that idol well, right? She could have taken it from Nasir, which, like, because nobody, like, yes, I think Nasir was saying that he was going to play it, and so people were just like, okay, we're just not going to deal with Nasir. But with all like the theatrics that was going on, I'd be like, whoa, this is too messy. I don't know exactly what's happening here. Why take that risk? Let me go to somebody who doesn't think it's coming and is say that he's going to play it. So he probably has it on his person. So let me take it from Nasir. Sorry, Nasir. Not sorry. Whatever. If you had to use it at that tribal council, Nasir was the person. Or nobody.
Well, no one at this one. Yes. This like, one. No.
Like,
oh.
So it was just all of it was just very bad. Like you said, being easily manipulated by every single person that she spoke to. The only things that she did terribly wrong. I just can't give her any positive props this week.
Wow.
But she can go up. She has to go up.
I felt bad about a 3. I am shocked you went to a 1. JoJo, what are you giving her?
The car is spinning right now. I can barely concentrate. I'm trying to find my own footing. Okay. So I actually was going between a 3 and a 4 for Lyanna. Yes. Still even a 4, because I've loved watching her play this game so far. I've been a fan. I really like her.
Sure.
I'm always pro female on Survivor. Sure. It is very rare for me to not root for a female on the show. But it was embarrassing. And I had to remind myself that she is young. And that she is incredibly eager, and I appreciate eager, but Nasir was the smart thing to do to piss off one person out of 10 instead of pissing off 3 people that you were just on a tribe with, cutting ties, jumping ship at merge. So silly. I'm gonna give her a 3.
You're gonna go with a 3.
I'll go with a 3.
I mean, she really openly cut ties with her old tribe. Like, wow.
So bad.
It is shocking. It's shocking. Well, the audience gave her a 3. We lost JoJo. The car really did spin. The car straight spun. So she is going to average 3. Out at a 3. Oh, it's a low 3. It's barely a 3, we should say. But yeah, you're right. I had also forgotten that I used to complain that she's too in her head and she's trying to make these big moves and overthinking. And I had forgotten about it, and then you guys brought it back up. Like, that's exactly what she did in this episode. Wanted so badly to like make these moves that you make at the end of the game, or maybe
like
when
poverty.
you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Wait,
she thought this was like poverty Sandra move. She's like, this is like moves like Sandra and poverty, like
Sandra,
legend in this game. Like, she really, really deluded herself into believing that she was doing something this episode.
Yeah,
she did. But I don't
that's the thing. She wants so bad to be a poverty, and unfortunately, if you push it, then I think you miss it, right? Yep. Okay, we are on to Nasir and Chantele. You are starting us off.
Nasir is a hard one for me. Because we didn't really see him much in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting in the scramble at Tribal when he was talking with like the other side, and they just like, Nasir, come over here. So like,
right,
that I thought was kind of funny. I wasn't sure if that was like good, where it's like they were trying to include him, or like kind of scolding him for like doing not what he's supposed to be, which would make me think that he's not really a valued member. So it was just kind of hard to judge him, but I will take into consideration that he very easily could have been the person that was one of the targets. There was only 5 people. The fact that it didn't seem like his name came up from what we were shown in the episode, that's really good. He didn't misplay his idol, also really good. But it didn't show that much of him doing anything in the game to make him go any further, really. So he voted out Sydney, which means that he was in on the plan enough to know who to vote for. So I'm giving him a 4.
A 4. Okay. Great. JoJo.
I also have Nasir at a 4. I think out of Luvu, the 3 people that wanted Sydney to go at some point in the previous how many days they've been there, all got to vote Sydney out of this game. I'm happy that he told people he was going to be playing his idol, even though we just found out about that during exit interviews, so I shouldn't include that in this ratings, but I am anyway. I think his 4 is middle of the road for him. So instead of a 3, bumping it up to a 4, just because he was up for elimination and somehow saved his own butt with an idol in his pants still. In the back pocket. Idol, back pocket.
Yes, agreed. Yes. You guys are making good points, but I'm not convinced. I'm going to keep him at the 3 that I was already putting him at. I felt like what we saw in this episode was that he was just a number. And I interpreted in that tribal, when he was talking to the other group, that could be him exploring new relationships, trying new things. He had reached out to Xander. Like, this was him making his own decision. And I don't remember who it was. It was like Danny or Deshawn, right? Who was like, Nasir, you need to be over here, because they need his number. He is just a number. And the fact that they could just snap their fingers and he ran back over took the power away from what he was attempting to do. He might have already going to vote with them no matter what, because like you said, he wanted to take Sydney out. So this was a great opportunity to do it. So I'm glad that he was getting to vote the way that he wanted, but he was a part of the group, but not really making influence. So to me, he's a 3, middle of the road. And the audience also gave him a 3, but with y'all, he has averaged up to a 4.
I think, I can see him being a high 3, so a low 4.
Yeah. A 3.5, 3.5.
Exactly. Well, the chat seems to be agreeing mostly with y'all. So Ricard is next. Well, this was an interesting. So for him, JoJo.
Okay. So I've been a huge fan of Shauna Ricard all season. And we didn't see a lot of Ricard this episode. So I'm going to generally go pretty high for him. He won that immunity, kicked butt, saved himself. I just wish we knew what he wanted to happen at this tribal. I don't feel like he was included that much. obviously he was in on the vote to get rid of Sydney, but I would have loved to have seen what he was thinking. But I still gave him a 6.
Oh, you're giving him a 6. Oh, I did
Yeah.
not see that coming.
I would have done a 5 because that's where I've had him all season. But that immunity win was clutch for him, especially. Even though, in my mind, a woman was going to be targeted, and it was most likely going to be Sydney. I'm going to give him a 6 for that win. He deserves it.
I agree. I gave him a 6 happily because not only did he win immunity, but I saw him walk right up to the group and tell everyone to vote for Evie. It looked to me that he took his power of immunity and told them who he wanted to vote out. So it seemed like he was the one. And I was actually a little surprised. I was like, you barely know these people, dude. Like, you weren't with them on a tribe. But he was like, yeah, let's go for Evie. It kind of dictated things. People sort of said, yeah, sure, sounds great. Then things got messy. But I feel like overall, his week was a 6. So I'm good with that.
Smart cookie.
Chantele?
You guys are convincing me. Well, I mean, I think he had a really great episode. I do agree with you, Sarah, that like when they had the beach shot where Danny was complaining a little bit, he seemed to be dictating that vote, or like where the beginning of the first time the vote was being decided. Like it seemed like it was his influence for sure, and it seems also that he is in on that the camp out. You know, it wasn't really stated, but he was involved in that conversation with those 4 and himself. And so that tells me that he's probably going to be safe within that group for at least a little bit. And so I do think that he probably used that merge feast. We probably didn't get to see it, but as an opportunity to bond with the men of Luvu, because we saw in the episode last week, I think it was, that Danny was speaking to Evie, being like, "Oh, you're getting out all the men, huh?" And they were like, no. And so I think that potentially Ricard had other conversations maybe with Danny, Deshawn, and maybe Nasir even about that. So I think that he's in a pretty good position. I didn't see that much of him, which is why I couldn't give him the 6. I gave him a 5, and it's a solid 5. I'm very happy to give him a 5. He'll probably end up at a 6, and I'm happy with that as well. I just didn't see just the little extra touch from him. Like, couldn't he have been the person who's like, Lyanna, there's no way that Xander is going to have the idol. There's no way. Like, why couldn't he have said that to her? Or tell Shan to say that to her? So the fact that he didn't get all the nuts and bolts in place is why I'm kind of giving him a 5, even though it's not really his responsibility. But you know, I want to see a little bit more from him.
Right, totally. Well, the audience actually is much lower. They're a 4 for Ricard.
That's surprising.
I'm not sure what they were seeing, but maybe they don't give immunity wins as much power as we did.
Immunity was hard, and everybody was neck and neck. Like that was like the strong team, like all going at it, and every single one of them having an opportunity to win. Like they were all pretty close.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty important.
Yeah.
He would have probably been gone. They could have been it could have been convinced for them to take out Ricard if he hadn't have won that. So yeah, Ricard would have been gone, or Nasir, because I think Evie would have stayed no matter what.
Well, he's going to average out at a 5 because of that wide range of ratings there. But that's okay. He's up there. He's in. I don't know. I thought he was going to be in more danger, but of course he did win immunity. So we'll see how the following weeks go for him. Okay, Shan is next, and I believe it's my turn. JoJo, did you just start that one?
Yeah.
Shan. This is a tough one because we know that we love her. We know she's great, but we also admit she's not perfect. And
Just go with your heart.
There's a lot to celebrate with her. She flew through this whole messy tribal with all of her advantages intact. She practically, got Lyanna to do everything that Lyanna did. She was very involved with all of the decisions that were made. But I'm not saying she's perfect. So I'm giving her a 5.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Chantele?
You guys know that I've been pretty high on Shan. And I've definitely stated a lot that she makes several mistakes, but she's fun to watch. I'm rooting for her. She has a theme song, so this season is a lot about her. And I appreciate that, especially as a viewer, as an audience member. But it seemed to me that as soon as she's out of Ricard's reigns, she makes a lot of mistakes. And, the first mistake, which is probably the inciting incident for this tribal debacle, was that loose lips sunk Lyanna's ship here. If she hadn't have blurted out to Tiffany that Lyanna had this advantage, they wouldn't have known it existed for them to be able to retaliate. And for that alone, I can't give her a 6. So for the 5, I was trying to give her a 5. And the fact that she was so sure of herself that Evie, there's no way Evie is thinking that far ahead. And Lyanna's like, no, Evie's really smart. Yeah. They're really good at this game. They think about everything. And she's like, nah, I don't think so. She got duped by Evie. And she influenced Lyanna to making the worst mistake I've seen in Survivor in a very long time. I had to only give her a 4. It's just too many mistakes. And she needs Ricard to rein her in. And she's good at executing, but she's not great so far at coming up with a plan. So, quattro.
Yeah, I mean, let's just sit with the fact that she wanted Evie out. That's who she wanted out. Had she not revealed Lyanna's advantage in front of Tiffany, they could have gotten Evie out this week. That blunder made all the mess happen. Sorry, JoJo, you're...
I mean, don't apologize for any of your ratings or thoughts, but I will say...
Sounds like a 6 coming.
I will say that this one was tough on me because I want to give Shan a 6. I love Shan. I love Shan all season. And I will say that it was not Shan's mistake. It was Lyanna's mistake. And if you're sitting next to her in the final 2, you can say, a reason Lyanna shouldn't win? Well, she made this embarrassment of herself at the merged tribal council. There's one real good reason. Sure, would it have been nice to have had another, or to know where the idol was with your ally? Absolutely. That's why I'm going to give her a 5. I'm still going high. I was between 4 and 5, and you know what? I could give Shan a 4, but I'm going to give her a 5.
Give her a 5.
I'm doing it. I'm going to do it.
Look,
I'm in a punishing mood today, it seems. So I'm just punish them. Bad moves.
Get her.
It's probably just my anger towards production for I mean, I thought it was obviously a super entertaining episode. And obviously, it was great. I wish it was a 2-hour episode. That would have been I would have forgotten about how mad I was about them losing their immunity. And I'd be oh my God, that was an amazing episode. So I get it. But these players are just playing so badly that I just can't reward them this week.
Look, I want to say Shan is such a good player that she can mess up and be messy, and she's still good and gets 5s. Yeah, I mean the audience is going to give her a 5, so she is going to average out at a 5. It's a low 5, but it's a 5. So, yeah, I feel like the Shan and Evie show could carry me for most of the season. I feel like both of them are so strong, and obviously aren't quite wanting to work together. So I would love to see more of it. I don't know if one of them has got not as much time as the other one. So I don't know, but I'd be here for it.
Shan will prevail over Evie, to be honest.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think Evie is too long for this game, unfortunately, because I do love Evie so much.
Poor Sydney, not even making it onto the jury after thinking that she made merge. That's so brutal. Sorry, I just came out of my mouth. Brutal. It's so mean.
It's not. It's
Don't you want to see her grumpiness like on the jury?
No, I mean, I really did appreciate her being like, I never want to see their faces again. I loved that. And I also love that she thought she made merge and then she didn't even make jury. I love all of that, to be honest with you. I am savage. Sorry. That's just the way it is, guys. All right, we're moving on to Tiffany. I don't remember who's starting Tiffany. Why don't you start us? Okay, Chantele, great.
So Tiffany is somebody that I'm kind of hot and cold with. She's very entertaining to watch. I think she makes quite a few mistakes. She kind of talks too much. She's scrambles. She's a little bit all over the place.
JoJo, we're talking about Tiffany now.
The fact that she was the person that Xander felt comfortable with giving his idol and his advantage to hold on to. And I also really appreciated the fact that she's like, it's not mine. You tell me what to do with it. Yeah. I like that. I thought that was great because Shannon wouldn't have done that, I don't think.
No.
So I really think that she played this episode for her game really well. I think out of all the Yase people, former Yase, she is going to outlast them all. I can see Lyanna going before Tiffany. I can see Xander going before Tiffany. I can see going before Tiffany. And so I do think she's going to outlast all of her other former Yases, which is really good for her because once she gets really deep in, she's going to slip her way to the end. And right now, I feel like she has a pretty direct path to a final three seat. It's looking good for her, I think. I think that she's just not going to be someone people are going to take out. So I'm giving Tiffany a 6.
What? What? I am currently dead on the ground. Wow. Wow.
I thought that she did a good job. Like if it was maybe Evie's influence, I don't know, hers, the combination of the three of them, I've felt that the three of them deserve 6s for how they played this episode. Did I give Evie a 6? Or am I giving her a 5? But regardless, or them a 5. No, I give her a 6. I gave them a 6.
Okay, you give it.
So I felt that they all got what, other than the fact that Sydney went home, they didn't lose their idol. They didn't lose their advantage. They still kept that intact. And they know now that Lyanna is the enemy. And they know that she's working with Shan. And so they gained a lot of information and they still kept their power. And I feel like Tiffany's going to outlast them. So I'm giving Tiffany a 6. I thought that she played this episode well, especially considering she's such a loose cannon. I thought she reined it in quite well.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, JoJo, what do you say to that?
I mean, I know we're Canadian, Chantele, but we are being so nice.
I'm being nice. I'm just being honest.
Even your 1s and 2s are nice compared to. But I also gave Tiffany a 6.
Of course you did.
You guys.
I am actually. Yeah, I am a huge Tiffany fan. I love a mess. I love a character. I do think she's been playing this game since the moment she threw her body off that boat into the water and searched for the paddle. I think she's an underdog. I've loved her story. And this episode impressed me. Like her facial expressions at Tribal, they killed me. I love entertainment and good gameplay. And I was impressed this week. I think she is someone that absolutely kind of throws it all at the wind sometimes and definitely will make mistakes or has made mistakes. But she, like you said, Chantele, she really reined it in this week. And I was shocked that she didn't just throw the idol at Evie and say, like, here, take it. Like, just, I don't know what to do. Here. which is kind of what I would come to expect from her sometimes.
Right.
A 6 for Tiffany.
Wow.
This week was brilliant. Yeah. What are you gonna do, Sarah?
Wow.
What are you doing?
One's a customer.
Yeah, balance it out there.
Let me just preface that Tiffany got a 1 from me last week, and that was my first and only 1 I have given out
I was
this whole
shocked by your
time.
1.
Because I strongly feel that she is an emotional player and does not see the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And in the big picture, I don't think that that's a great gameplay. I don't think that that really gives you longevity or the win. But yes, she goes up this week. I am giving her a 3. I'm so sorry. I cannot go as high as you guys, but because I don't give her credit, and maybe that's wrong, but I can only go by what I've seen in all the edits so far. I don't give her credit for holding the idol. I believe that's Evie or Xander came up with the idea that Tiffany would be the safe person to hold it. And I do absolutely appreciate that she was part of the team that made this move, that she said, Xander, this is your idol. You tell me what to do. She didn't do anything crazy in that moment. I do appreciate that. So I am bumping her up for being a part of this historic plan, but I do not give her credit for it. So that is why it is a 3 for me. But you guys, the audience.
Guess what?
What?
She's a Sagittarius. She's so Sag now. Like, now that I think about it, like, you know, things come out of her mouth, like that she wants to rein it back in, but like it just spurts things out. It's quite saggy, fiery, not emotionally, but like passionate with like her moves.
Right.
So looking at it through a Sag lens, she's so Sag, which I think is really funny.
Right. I can definitely see the Sagittarius qualities where she's blurting things out. She needs some earth to ground that so that she can think about maybe the strategic move instead of the emotional move. I would love to know. I mean, classically, I had my beautiful Azza this summer who was a Sag, but with a water moon.
She's December 8. I can't remember what your actual number is. The 8th.
Okay. We might look that up because I bet she's got an air sign, or I feel a lot of air in her, right? But she is emotional. So I don't know. Maybe it's water. I don't know. I don't get it, guys. I can't believe she's a Sag. The audience gave her a 4.
Ooh. Is it a 5? Okay.
You guys, she is a 5 and I don't know how.
Good. Love it.
I mean, I think 3 is a little bit low personally for her this week. I can understand last week how like I'm still a little bit higher than you last week as well, I believe. But I just think that she's doing better than we're giving her credit for. So
I'm interested to see.
We'll see.
I'm interested to see how her trajectory actually
she's gonna get
goes.
to the end. Like I do think so actually.
Not the final tribal. The end.
I do. Yeah.
I kind of do.
She's so messy. You don't think that there's going to be a day where they're like, she has spilled all of our tea. We have to get her out. You don't think that that's going to come up? She's not someone easy to roll with.
She's going to roll. She's going to be the one to take the shot in the dark and get saved.
Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this leaves us with Mr. Xander. JoJo.
I mean, okay. So normally a white straight male would not even reach past a 4 for me. I give them no mind generally. And Xander's kind of been a surprise for me more and more every episode. I like him, which is difficult for me to even say. Because I actually think Xander's like great guy, great confessionals. He's not the smartest cookie, but I also kind of saw through this edit. I thought there's no way he's going to be sitting next to Lyanna with this idol out playing with it. What's the move here? And the move was great. I don't want to give Xander all the credit for this,
Yeah.
but he had a great episode this week, and I'm gonna give him a 6.
Yes.
I think he gets a 6 this week, and even I'm choking at that.
Yes.
But he deserves it, and I'm a fan. I like Xander. Oh God, I'm a fan.
You did it. You said it. It's
I
there.
said
It's
it.
out.
I like him.
It's out there. You know what? I'm keeping that 6 right on up. I'm
Yep.
giving Xander all the credit this week because I said this already. I think it was probably Evie, but that's just me inferring that Evie's the one that said, let's roll like this. Doesn't matter because we don't know for sure. What we do know is that Xander was the star.
Yep.
He's the one who put the idol in Tiffany's hands, made a fake idol in preparation for something amazing. So props to that. And then Chantele, you said it was horrible acting. It was so obvious, but I was on the journey with him. He started futzing around with that idol, and I thought, what an idiot. Are you kidding me? He's showing them he has the idol. He doesn't understand how it works. How could Evie have not explained it to him? I was right there with Lyanna thinking Xander has been an idiot for all of these episodes. He just comes across that way. We don't really know if he's an idiot, but he fooled us that he was a dummy, and he played me like a fool. And he said, no, you can't, but you can have this fake idol. And I was floored. I fell for it. I went on the ride, and I have to give him all the credit for this amazing tribal event. We lost the whole thing. It was live. It was messy. And I give everything to Xander for it. So 6.
I totally understand the journey that you were on when he was pulling it out, because I did have moments where I was like, no, has to be fake. No, that's not real.
Has to be.
No. And then I was like, okay, then she's not okay. If he's doing that, then she's not going to take the risk, right? Like, no.
Right.
And then I was just like, no, there's no way. So I definitely see how you could have been like floored in that moment, but I was always being like, it has to be fake. There's no way that he'd be this obvious. That was also ringing in the back of my mind. But the fact that he executed this, I think, was really great. Like, regardless of whether I thought he did a good acting job or not,
right?
He knew his audience. Lyanna bought it. And the fact that he didn't play the idol for Evie, that was all him. Now, I'm not sure if it's because he was a little spooked by what Deshawn said, with being like, oh, she gave me this information. I knew about Xander's idol before I've even met the guy. And so maybe he was a little bit like, well, I'm not going to use my idol on you. It could have been a little bit of that, but I do think it was the right call. And he was the one that pulled the brakes on that idol being used at all. And so that was really smart. And it might have been his plan the whole time. Who knows? Like, maybe he's like, I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to play it for you. Let's just get it out there. I'm going to play it for you. Let's flush Lyanna's idol or advantage. And maybe he was never going to play it, which is also very interesting. So the fact that he came out of this tribal council that was such a mess, he still has his ally, and he still has all of his advantages, I think. And he has a target. He's a direct target. Like, he could go for Lyanna. He can go for Deshawn. Like, there's people that he could get people to maybe vote out next time around. He's probably safe for next couple rounds. So I think he did an exceptional job this episode. And I think he deserves some accolades. So I'm with you 3. It's a 6 across the board.
Wow, I did not see that coming. I have definitely not ranked him that high in the past. I totally forgot to even bring up the whole idol thing, but I agree with you. He still has his idol. He didn't play it. And even though in that moment I was like, you idiot, you should have played it. But don't listen to me, Xander. You're doing just fine on your own. The audience, they averaged him out at a 5. It happens. He still averages out at a 6 because of all of our 6s. Good job, Xander. Way to entertain us and apparently make all the right moves. Whether you accidentally fell into it or not, I don't know. But it was great. Love it so much. Yay! We did it. And I don't know. We weren't weren't totally fighting over things. Sometimes Chantele and I are like polar opposites.
I love it.
We're just a couple people. Sometimes we're right on, and then a couple people just like have completely opposite opinions about.
Yeah, I feel like Tiffany was the only really controversial one that we had.
I mean, last week. 3 is still a teeny bit low, I think, for this particular episode. She was part of this plan, right? It wouldn't have been able to be executed without her. So, you're like, still a 3.
Yep. I'm not changing my score.
That one shook me last week. To my
JoJo,
core.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
I fully expected. I was like, is Sarah about to give Tiffany a 5 or 6? Like, is this? Am I being? Is this? And then a 1? Oh my god.
I feel bad about it, but I do not change.
Don't feel bad. No.
No.
Don't feel bad about it. Be proud of your rankings.
Is what it is. You guys, thank you so much. JoJo, thank you for coming back. It's been a minute.
Thanks for having me.
Loving to hear your thoughts. Chantele, thank you, as always, for coming on. Where can the people find you? Chantele, let's start with you. Where do you want the people to find you?
People can find me on Reality Realness with 3 S's on YouTube. Right now I'm covering The Bachelorette, which I'm loving this season just as much as you are, Sarah.
Well,
and I definitely have the same crushes that you have. Give me Nate, give me Joe.
Yes.
Love them both. Yes. They're so cute. And I'm actually starting to develop a little crush on Martin. I don't know why, but he's kind of cute and going
you
on
have to
me.
Explain that one to me.
I think it's just he's got a little bit of swagger. But anyways, we are on the same page with Joe and Nate there. So I usually go live either at 11 a.m. on Wednesday Eastern or 6 p.m. depending. And then going live after the episode for The Challenge, season 37 on Wednesdays. And then I talk with Reality Pop about The Challenge on Fridays at 8 p.m. And then here with you on Mondays. So the week is starting to pick back up a little bit. So maybe there'll be more things in the works depending on when things start airing again.
Right. JoJo, I put your Instagram below. Perfect. Is that where you like people to find you? Tell us.
That's probably the best place to find me. Right down there at Joseph O'Toole. My Twitter is O'Toole Jo. I don't know where that came from many moons ago, but use it here and there, for a little follow.
All right. And are you talking about any shows right now?
I'm talking about Survivor with Chantele.
Oh, yeah, from Survivor with me on Thursdays.
Okay, I guess we're not mentioning that one. Thursdays, you can find us. But 24 hours after the episode. We like to really get in deep. I watched a couple times.
Nice.
Yeah, we bring Jonathan in. We love Jonathan.
Right. We've had Jonathan. We know Jonathan.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Thank you, everyone in the chat who joined us live, gave us your ratings. We really appreciate your insights. And if you are joining us later, leave a comment, give us your ratings and how you felt about this epic last tribal and who you're rooting for moving forward. What
I don't even know who I'm rooting for. I don't even know. Like, I like a lot of people. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. We're going to see.
Yeah, this cast is legit. Like, come on. This cast is so good. I'm really just here to see who goes after who and what moves they make.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, you guys. Well, I will be back Wednesday night right after the episode with David to recap this next episode. So we will all see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.